Welcome back to Words of the Past. Today we're turning the pages of history to uncover 10 remarkable books about the First World War. Each of these works is in the public domain, meaning they were written more than a century ago, offering us a direct window into the voices of those who lived through the Great War. From the mud of the trenches to the open skies above, from powerful poetry to moving memoirs, these books capture the conflict from every perspective. So let's dive in. Goodbye to All That. Robert Graves was not only a soldier in the British Army, but also one of the great poets of the 20th century. In Goodbye to All That, he reflects on his childhood, his school days, his service in the war, and the disillusionment that followed. His descriptions of the Battle of the Somme are especially powerful, blending stark realism with biting humor. What makes the book remarkable is that it's not just about death and despair. Graves often describes the absurdities of military life, the strange friendships formed under fire, and the ways soldiers try to cope with madness around them. My War Experience in Two Continents. Sarah Macnaughtan, a British humanitarian and writer, recounts her extraordinary experiences serving as a nurse and relief worker in both France and Russia. Her memoir offers a deeply personal perspective on the war's devastation, as well as the resilience and suffering of civilians caught in its path. A Student in Arms. Donald Hankey, a soldier and essayist, reflects on the meaning of duty, faith, and sacrifice from the front lines. His thoughtful and poignant essays written before his death in 1916 became widely read in Britain, capturing the inner life of an ordinary soldier. Over the Top. An American who enlisted in the British Army, Arthur Guy Empey, describes a life in the trenches with vivid detail. His fast-paced narrative, filled with battles, bayonet charges, and military slang, became one of the most popular war memoirs of its time. The First 100,000. Written with humor and humanity, this memoir chronicles the early days of Kitchener's Volunteer Army, the first 100,000 recruits who trained in Scotland before being sent to the Western Front. Ian Hay captures both the camaraderie and the hardships of Britain's civilian soldiers. With the Allies. American war correspondent Richard Harding Davis reports from the opening months of the conflict, providing eyewitness accounts of the German invasion of Belgium and the early battles in France. His dispatches reveal how the war shocked the world in its first months. A War Nurse's Diary. Sketches from a Belgian Field Hospital. This anonymous diary presents the daily struggles of a nurse working near the front lines in Belgium. From the flood of wounded soldiers to the constant threat of shellfire, her account highlights the critical role of medical workers during the war. Fighting France. Famed novelist Edith Wharton volunteered in France during the war, organizing refugee aid and traveling along the front. In this nonfiction work, she shares her observations of destroyed towns, military camps, and the courage of French soldiers and civilians. The Story of the Great War. Published while the war is still unfolding, this ambitious multi-volume history covers key battles, strategies, and political developments. It provides a contemporary record of the conflict as it was understood at the time, making it a valuable window into early interpretations of the war. The Great War and How It Affected America. Written just after the armistice, this book by Edwin Wiley examines the impact of the war on the United States. It explores how America mobilized militarily, economically, and socially, and how the nation's role in the conflict helped shape its place on the world stage. The Red Fighter Pilot. Manfred von Richthofen, better known as the Red Baron, was the most famous fighter ace of World War I. In his memoir, The Red Fighter Pilot, he accounts his early days as a cavalryman, his transition to the Air Force, and his rise to fame as the world's deadliest pilot. This book was partly written as German propaganda, but is still a fascinating glimpse into the new world of aerial combat, dogfights, daring maneuvers, and the peculiar mix of chivalry and brutality in the skies. The U-Boat Hunters. Pulitzer Prize-winning author James B. Conley recounts his time at sea with the U.S. Navy during the fight against German submarines. Blending adventure, naval history, and frontline reporting, his stories capture the drama of the war at sea. And you can hear this book right here on Words of the Past. These books are just a glimpse into the many powerful voices that came out of the First World War. And if you enjoyed this list, be sure to check out the other fascinating stories we have here on Words of the Past. You'll find links in the description where you can read or purchase the books that we've mentioned in this video. And finally, we'd love to hear from you. What other list of public domain books would you like us to explore next? Let us know in the comments, and we may feature your suggestion in a future video. Thanks for watching.